Hey guys, what's up? It is Matt. It's the RYLA Routine, and very excited to have Miss Z Young with us. Z, what's up?
What's up? What's up, y'all?
So Z, one of my favorite RYLA alumni, one of my favorite RYLA Rotarians, coming at us, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, a tiger, right? A tiger, the
That's what
Broken
we
Arrow
are.
Tigers. Is it true that Broken Arrow is the largest high school in the state of Oklahoma?
Yeah, it is. We had at the time I graduated, we had like 16 buildings on campus.
How many students would you say graduate? How many in your graduating class?
Mine was 1,216.
And I think Aaron said she graduated with, or Bethany, we know, went to school with like 60.
Yeah, yeah, huge class. I mean, it was like the same size as my college class.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's, and what's even more awesome is like, I know we talked to Piper and like was talking about, we didn't talk about Broken Arrow as much, but like you and Piper both coming from the same school. We've had some heavy hitters coming from Broken Arrow and some awesome people from Broken Arrow that have been leaders in a class of 1,600 students. And you are definitely one of those. Tell us how you got to RYLA. Tell us like what's the scoop? How did you get there? Um, what keeps you coming back? Like give us your RYLA story.
Yeah, so I was as a camper in 2015. It was my junior year of high school. I was in all like the leadership classes in high school. So I really am not necessarily your average RYLA kid. Like I had the leadership skills, you know. But I still enjoyed RYLA and got a lot out of RYLA. So I went as a camper in 2015. And I have not missed one since 2015. Been in CIT, chief, chaperone, leadership, support staff, you name it, I've probably done it at RYLA. And honestly, what keeps me coming back is the investment and seeing the impact that I'm able to make on the kids that come to camp. Like I have, like I still talk to some of my people that were in my tribe from 2015, even some of my campers from my CIT year. And just the impact that RYLA had on me is why I keep coming back. And as someone who kind of works with the mental health side of things with this particular age group, I see a lot of these kids are struggling with not having anyone to look up to, not having support. And so for me, RYLA is a place where I am able to give these kids that person that they need that they don't have.
So when
So
you
I have
go ahead, my fault.
so I do have a lot of kids from my years at camp that I consistently keep in contact with just to be like their person.
Yeah, so you talked about as a profession working in the mental health field. Tell us a little bit more about that. Like, what's that? I mean, you are we've got a few folks that out of leadership that all seem to do the same roundabout thing, and that's they invest in kids not only at RYLA, but they also have chosen to use that as a career path. So tell us a little bit more, like what as a career, what are you up to?
So well, two things. One, I work at the Y as sports person, so I get to hang out with kids all the time doing sports, which is super cool. Um, I actually ran into one of the kids that I ref the other day at Walmart, and they actually recognized me, so that was kind of cool. Um, and then also for my career, I work primarily with group homes for the most part, but I work a lot with like the high school age group in my work in mental health, doing like therapy and case management. I'm at an elementary school, so still working with kids. Not my desired age group, but I still get to make
Yeah.
an impact on some kids. So
When you do that, you say work with kids. I mean, what exactly are you doing? Like, I mean,
um
is it kids that are in trauma? Is it kids that are on like a IEP? Is it? I mean, what kind of things are
yeah,
you doing and who you're working with?
it's usually kids that have some sort of something that can be a setback. So it's some of them have IEP, some of them going through trauma, a lot of them in DHS custody, a lot of them dealing with trauma in the household. And notice I said be a setback because what I like to teach the kids I work with is that your situation doesn't have to be a setback. It's just a part of who you are and makes you who you are. So that's why I said it could be a setback.
Yeah, so it's a little. I mean, it's getting at a younger some of these guys at a younger age and talking, is that thumbprint, and like you can't, the
Mhm.
thumbprint's there, right? You can't. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
something you can just go hide or put on a shelf. I mean, like,
right.
it's part of who you are, the past, and how you're shaped. That's absolutely who we are. Um, and having individuals. I actually went today. There's a new organization to Tulsa, not necessarily to the community, but to Tulsa, called Grand Mental Health, and they had a ribbon cutting today that I went to, and they focus, they're kind of focusing on this community health, community care model.
Hmm.
And mental health, we know is so important, especially, and it was important before the pandemic, and it became a buzzword during the pandemic. And I know that we've had this conversation amongst leadership, like some of the kids coming to camp, the kids we're seeing now versus the kids that were in 2015. The kids in 2015 still had, they still had a thumbprint that was unique, but the kids today, um, they've got some, you said setbacks. I'll use that word. They've got some setbacks in their life, and they're really looking for some skills to overcome that. I mean, I don't think there's anybody walking around explaining to these young men and young ladies how to overcome that. Unfortunately, they may look at social media, or they may look at, um,
Right.
they may look at drugs or alcohol at an earlier age. Just some things out there that they may look
Yeah.
at and go, that'll be a solution for me. So having people in the healthcare professionals like yourself, um, is just, it's so necessary right now. So seeing like you talk about your time at RYLA and talk about the investment of making that investment and really taking time to support kids at camp, and then also be able to do that outside of that. Youth sports. I mean, yeah, as an official, that's a great outlet too, right?
Yeah.
To have a positive, caring adult, not just the coach, but the official on the field too. As a YMCA professional, obviously, I appreciate you as a Y professional, knowing that you do it not because necessarily the funds like me, but you do it because the investment you get to make. You get to see the smiles on the faces. You also get to see uplift when things don't go their way, because sport has that. But I
Hmm.
know you also played sports yourself, and so I know that there's some things that as leaders, I think we're taught on the field that kind of support us as an adult, and some of those things become a part of our thumbprint too. Is there anything in sport that you think like has prepared you? If you look back, like, hey, as a kid that played sports, to a teen that played sports, like, is there anything in sport that you feel like just, like now as a professional, like there's skills that I used as a leader, or skills I used on the field that's prepared me to be better as an adult?
Yeah, for sure. I think one thing I can think of is like, when I think of like tournaments and how, we would get to the championship game and we'd lose by like one PK, right? Like you're defeated. But like in the real world, like, that happens all the time. You may just barely miss it or something like that, but you're able to then grow from that. Okay, so next time maybe we should have so and so take the penalty kick instead of this person, or do whatever you need to do. So kind of you make mistakes. For me, it's like when I've made mistakes on the field and learning how to adjust, or like, you know, even playing soccer now, sometimes my teams don't have enough players, so we just kind of throw a team together with random people that we all know. So then that requires you having to adjust to playing with different people that you normally don't play with. And I think that's how it is in the leadership world, is just you're gonna have to adjust to who you work with, and adjust to people that may be put on your team that you normally wouldn't work with, or that completely operate in the completely different way than you do. You just have to like learn to adjust. So like a lot of flexibility and learning how to overcome obstacles.
Yeah, you say something there that I think inside an organization, maybe not as much, but when you start talking about collaborations, especially in a community, you may end up with new players on the team, um, and those new players have talents. Those new players have elements that we may not have, right?
Right.
And so I think, yeah, it's so the team dynamic is so true, and sometimes we end up with people on our team that we didn't have a say in it. So we've got to
Yeah.
make a decision as an adult. We just kind of, we got to do what's best for the organization or best for the purpose. And purpose is one of those big things. I had a lot of conversation about today with some folks. Just a lot of folks, I think, get caught on um, creating a great mission statement. And really what it comes down to is people today are looking for purpose. They're looking for, why do you exist? Um, Not necessarily who you are, but why are you who you are? And so I think when you think about leadership and you think about what's our purpose as a leader, if I get somebody given to me and all of a sudden I've got to change, my role may change. Um, Somebody actually may have a better strength, like if somebody takes that PK, that penalty kick versus, me, like that may not be my thing, but I'm one of the five that have to go out there and take the shot. Um, I think our job as leaders is the same. When it comes to you working with kids, somebody may be able to connect better with the kid that is this certain way. And as leaders saying, you know what, like I'm going to tag somebody else in and let somebody else jump in and support this conversation. It doesn't have to be on that side of things. I think is so important. When you look at leadership in general, like, I mean, what are some things that come out of RYLA or some things in general with you that like just are mission critical to you? Like when you talk about leadership, if we say Z, like if Z had some nuggets on leadership, what would she share?
Um, I would say for me, I had to learn a lot because like anybody that knows me knows like I'm 110,000% fire. Like there's nothing else there. Like it's just straight fire. So I've had to learn when to sit back and chill and let other people kind of take the role in, or like even delegation, because I'm one like I'll do it just to get it done and get it out the
Yeah.
way and forget I even have people working with me. But that's just the type of person I'm in. So RYLA kind of taught me how to navigate being a fire and working with other elements, and having to sit back and not have control as a fire. So that was one thing that RYLA's kind of taught me there in regards to my leadership. And just being flexible. Like I think of my years as CIT chief, and there were some years I was like, man, my CITs, okay, I'm a little, but it's you adjust, right? You learn, you adjust, and you make it work. And I think that's part of, like I said, of being flexible as a leader, because and I also think of servant leadership too. That's another thing with me too, is servant leadership. Like I have to be willing to do what I'm asking my followers to do.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, because there's kind of some of the things that I've gleaned from her over
I
the
know
years.
Kylie talked about when we talked to Kylie, she didn't use the word servant leadership, but I know she kind of hinted at that. And I think that's, those of us that are fires, I think that's, the fine line of like doing it versus
Yeah,
like, let me show you and kind of remove myself. Because
yeah,
otherwise, I mean, yeah, you're right. Me and you'll do it. We'll do it all. Right.
right,
We don't
right,
need, we don't really need anybody else. We can drive, we can get the car. We'll get there. We don't need MapQuest. We know east, north, north, south, east, and west, and Texas is
right.
south. We're going to get to Dallas. Um, yeah. So I fully get that. Is there, when you talk about RYLA, like what's some like RYLA, like kind of in closing, like what are some RYLA moments or some folks about, that have been experienced at camp that you've been around that you're just like, man, I think when I think about camp, these are the bright spots. These are things that get me excited.
Yeah,
These are some moments at camp that get me hyped, like, or just some moments that made me pause and go, you know what? Yep, that's why we do what we do.
yeah. Um, I think for me, one is a new day. I take a new day very seriously. It's hanging in. I have a copy hanging in both of my offices. I wear this hoodie all the time. I've started wearing this hoodie with my clients, and that's kind of one of the first things say ending of ending the session. I'm like, hey, tomorrow's a new day. Um, and so I always wear this hoodie when I have sessions with clients. This one or the other one we have. But so it's something I've even incorporated into my profession as a therapist, of reading like a new day with my clients. At the end of every session, they hear a new day. And so that's one thing that's kind of been like a RYLA moment for me, is a new day. Um, I would also say um, Camper from Orange Tribe came and hugged me at the end of camp, and I told her, I was like, hey, I'm so proud of you. And she was like, nobody's told me that before. And that was kind of like this is it. Like this is why I'm here. Me personally. Um, just kind of that moment. I think a couple years back there was a girl, I can't remember her name, but she was not going over that wall. And she finally went over the wall, and just like the celebration she had at the top of the wall, after going over, because I had to talk to her like 20 minutes to get her to go over, but she eventually went over. So just like seeing campers overcome, things that are barriers for them or things that they're scared of. Is another thing that I kind of see as like RYLA moments of like, this is why we do this.
I think for a lot of people, we underestimate somebody telling somebody that they're proud of them.
Yeah.
Um, I always, when I take the kids to school, and this is weird with a 7, 11, and 9-year old, right? I think back, like I can tell you from the first day I took Maddox to school to today, like when the kids get out of the car, if I'm the ones that take them, um, you know, sharing as a father, saying, "Hey, I'm proud of you," um, and no matter what's going on in the moment, it changes how they respond. Like we
Yeah.
can be having a really bad morning. You got 3 kids running around the house, and like it's been a rough morning because somebody got to sit in the front seat and somebody didn't. And you tell a kid when they get out of the car, "Hey, I'm proud of you," and you see a smile. We don't like to be kicked as human beings, and when somebody acknowledges and appreciates us and says, they affirm something, maybe we don't even see in ourselves, right?
Hmm.
And so for that camper to hear somebody say that I'm proud of you, um, I mean that's life changing for some people. It's you know it's something that I think is so overshadowed. Um,
Hmm.
you talk about the new day. It's so crazy. I haven't told this story, but you brought it up. You brought up the new day. I had one of the things that I'm in is Maddox collects baseball cards, and like it's something we do together. And I had a picture of a card we got the other day, and I posted online and in this community, and Maddox had on the New Day yellow T-shirt, and I literally saw that dude in the comment was like, That's amazing shirt." Like he was going through. He's been sober for like 6 or 7 years, and basically like that's his mantra. Um, and so like I was like, not to be creepy, but like, dude, send me your address. So, like I sent him a shirt the other day. And this guy's like the next day, it's like a picture of him. His hey friend requested me, and all of a sudden it's a picture of him in the New Day t-shirt. This is a guy in Pennsylvania that knows nothing about what we do.
Right.
But it's not just words, right? I mean, that's why,
Right.
if you've been to camp on a Friday night, that's why it's so mission critical to me, is like, it's so much beyond words. And I think
Hmm.
it's my purpose to ensure that everyone that I come into contact with understands the value that they can place on a single day and the value they can place on today. And I'm just, like inside, like I'm glowing outside, hopefully a little bit, but inside,
Yeah.
my heart is like, I love it, Z. I absolutely love the fact that you're utilizing the new day to share with folks that are in a point of, maybe a point of trauma, maybe a point of stress, maybe a point of like needing to hear something in a simpler term than be this, be that, be this, but let it be
Yeah.
gain, not loss, good, not evil, success, not failure. Um, because we have today, and
Yeah.
we're blessed to have a day, in that. Kind of as we wrap up, what's the like what's the big like what's your big like, if Z could share one thing about RYLA Rotary, if it's people, what is it like? What's the parting gift Z has for the RYLA routine today?
Um, I would say take the RYLA routine and make it personal. Like, yes, the RYLA routine is wake up, be awesome, go to bed, but like, what does being awesome look like for you? And that's what you do. And for me, it goes back to my passion of working in mental health and investing in others. That's like my be awesome. Like, I make sure that everybody I come in contact with, I've made some sort of investment in throughout the day. So yeah.
I love it. That is 110% perfect. And it is, you define awesome, right? And it may be, what you do between the time you wake up and the time you go to bed, you get that opportunity to find that. So I absolutely appreciate that. And I appreciate your time today. I appreciate the fact that you are awesome. I also am very proud to say that, again, your continued investment, to come back since 2015 and continue to serve, um, not because we're getting paid, but because it's the right thing to do. It's the
Right.
right thing to do, to invest in people, and make sure people know that, they matter. And we show up by being kind, and we show up by being genuine. And you do all of those things. I am grateful for you, grateful for your friendship, grateful for the family that you bring. with you to support my family here, my kids, my wife, everybody that is around RYLA that knows your infectious personality and smile. And just want to say thank you for supporting the RYLA routine today, and hope you have an awesome rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. I enjoy coming back to RYLA. It's like my favorite time of the year. My coworkers be like, "Will you shut up about this RYLA thing?" I'm like, "Nope."
Well, awesome. Well, we got a couple more folks left on leadership, and then we're going to jump into some chaperones, I think, and probably jump into some CITs. But Z, thanks again for your time, and hope you have an awesome
Yeah,
day.
you too.